Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
If you can't see everyone, you're kind of like hoping people are like you. Like imagine like someone in the top corner is like, oh, I hate these guys. You're like, oh. Yeah. But luckily you can't see them, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, here we go again. This train never stops a-rolling.
Never.
Choo-choo. Our next stop, Drum and Drummer Town. The train is pulling in. Can I check your tickets, please? I'm sorry, this ticket is not valid. You must vacate the train at the next station.
Have you planned this?
But that's okay. That's where I'm headed anyway. Oh, that's a problem with the fair justice system on trains. Choo-choo.
Is that it?
Yeah.
People will be listening in going, oh, Ollie... Oh, no, wait. Yeah, it is, yeah. Ollie Thacker. I've heard of him. And then we've just got to listen to your train bit for a minute. But that was good.
Thanks.
Just sort of lower people's expectations on what it will be.
Yes.
And then raise them, you know, when the chat comes in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But before that, have we got anything?
Well, I mean, we crammed a lot into last week's episode, a lot of goings on. So I mean, I've just been doing quite a lot of weddings, mate. That's what I do. I play drums at weddings. My name is Ben, and I play drums at weddings. This is me. So I went up to Wales the other week, to the heart of Wales, the beating heart of the dragon. Yeah, the stem of the leek. Anyway, 7 p.m. loading.
There, you got any more? Oh yeah.
So that took the edge off the long drive. Long drive, full of banter. En route, we were looking for food. Right, this is how far into sort of the arse of Wales we were, that on the way home, which was the same route, it was 2 hours to a motorway. That's how far in the off the beaten track.
Bloody hell.
But we got to a point where it was like, well, it's right a bite out, so we need to get some dinner. What are we gonna do? We're heading into A roads, country roads. There ain't gonna be no KFC. There ain't gonna be no Burger King.
No, God no.
The Golden Arches are long gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So old Nelly gets on the old Google. He finds somewhere. I found a diner. The OK
cool.
Diner.
Is it, sorry, was this on the way or on the way back?
This is on the way.
Okay.
Found the OK Diner. So
right.
It's probably our last chance. Let's check it out.
Yeah. Sounds shit.
And it was
already.
as you'd expect, one of those sort of American 60s themed diners just by an old shell garage, you know.
Nice.
Some sort of. So we went in there. It was pretty good, actually. I mean, they're not selling themselves by calling themselves the OK Diner, you know. But we had a lovely milkshake. I had a lovely double blue cheeseburger.
I knew it would be something like that. Yeah. Did you eat it with a knife and fork?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
I eat my burgers with a knife and fork.
Was there a point
in
at
public
which you started eating burgers with a knife and fork? Or, you know?
I don't know. I just don't like messy. I just don't like get my hands messy. I like to keep them clean fingers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, so we get to Wales, pull up at 6:58, professional. It's this nice venue in the middle of the countryside. Nice, easy loaded. Bride and groom come over and say hello, which is very rare, actually. Very rare. It was a nice chill-out wedding. Turns out the bride used to play the drums. She used to play the drums. So shout out to Terry. I did tell her I had a podcast about drumming, so I don't know if she's found it. But if you have, then hello. But she was asking me all about like what kit I've got, blah, blah, blah. And she used to play. She's still got a kit. She's done her grade 8 years ago. I was like, get back playing again. And, but it was a lovely gig. And then we drove home and I got home about 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah, that'll do.
That'll do.
Did people chat to you or did you raw dog it in silence?
Well, actually, we chatted. So it was freshman year. So it was the three of us in a van. We'd spent a large majority of the journey answering the question that Mike posed, which was, what defines metal music?
Right.
And so we just talked about that. And then we listened to some
Good.
Sleep Token. See what all the
Cool.
fuss is about.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
and that saw us all the way home, baby. We've got a
Lovely.
guest. We have a guest
certainly do.
with us this week. We went and grabbed him and held him captive until he talked to us. So, despite
Very
the
much.
laughs, please know he was under great distress
He was
for the whole.
scared. Yeah.
He was scared. We're joined by Ollie Thacker.
Yeah.
So,
It's a great name, innit? Because it almost sounds like hitting a drum, and that sounds
Yeah.
stupid. I didn't get to say that to him, but it sounds
Yes.
like whack,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, you got that snare. Oh, it got a real good whack to it, you know what I mean?
good Thacker, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
great
It's
name.
like that name thing, isn't it? Like that firefighter called Ken McBurney. Or
Yeah.
you get all those things.
Or the runner called Aaron Farr. Yeah.
Yeah, the nominative determinism. He was born to play drums.
This is it.
He's done loads for such a young lad, and we chat about all sorts of stuff. Let's dive on in then, shall we, George?
Let's dive on in.
Here's our chat with Ollie T. Hacker, Ollie Thacker. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Hello.
Good, thank you. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, all right. Thanks.
Good.
Yeah.
Good,
Nice.
good.
Do you
Good.
know-
I had a bit of a random night last night, which was hilarious. I ended up going to
saw.
it was a jam with all of Beyonce's band and crew and team. It was
Where?
it was in this like members club thing in Leicester Square. And I didn't realize it was going to be like that. Like I thought like one of the two of the team would be there. And then like everyone was there. And it was like, what? This is so weird. And it's
Right,
just
let's
a vibe.
reset.
It was a jam.
Let's rewind. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've started at a 10. I like it.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
coming in. I try to look really fresh. I've done like ice cubes on my things because I'm like here.
Don't worry about that. The video doesn't go out. It's just audio. You're fine.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I look absolutely fucked. Don't worry. That's what I
I
thought.
like the shirt. Your shirt's really cool. Jurassic
Thank you very
World.
much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Right. So you ended up at a jam night with Beyonce's band.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Rewind. How did you get to that point?
Well, I spoke to the drummer like a couple of times on Instagram, and then he put this thing on, and I asked him about it, and he just said, "Yep, pull up." So I brought my sister and 3 other friends along, and we turned up quite early before everyone got there. We were like, "Oh, this is quite cool. It's a really cool like room." And someone was setting up the band stuff, and then everyone just suddenly started pouring in, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I watched Beyonce last year, so I recognized like the band.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was insane. It was such a vibe.
Yeah, I saw because I was on Instagram last night just before I went to sleep, and I was like, I think he's out. I think he's doing the interview tomorrow. I think he's at some party or something.
Yeah.
It's like, does he
I don't-
remember?
Yeah, it was so cool. I don't drink, so I'm fine. I'm fine on that front, but I was like a little bit tired this morning. I was like, oh my God, if it's getting recorded, I need to sort this out.
Okay, we're all in the same boat. That's
Did you end up? So what happened at this event then? Were people just going up and playing, or were they doing a performance?
They mainly did a big performance and like just jammed the whole night. But I hopped up and played some like in little break bits, which is so cool because like just sat next to like Beyonce's bassist, and it was just really cool. They were all like the loveliest guys. They all just came over and introduced themselves to like my friends because they were kind of at the start just stood there, and I was like, oh, very, very humble. Like I think it's quite different, the American scene on that front. They're really, really like polite, humble, and just grateful, I think. So
Yeah. How do you mean, as in like opposed to?
I don't know. I think
People
there
like
was
me.
there was just like no egos there. Everyone was just there to have a good time, and it was just awesome.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's like because they played London, like 7 nights at. I'm not sure where it was.
Tottenham.
Tottenham. That's it. Yeah. And then on a night off to go and play.
I know they've got a show tonight, and they just wanted to put an event on, and it was. I think because you can easily on tour, you can easily get stuck into playing the same songs. And I think the songs they get to play are awesome. But for them, they're able to then have like a creative outlet and sort this out. For musicians, that's like would be so much fun. So they just put it on, have a good time, and yeah, it was a cool spot for it as well.
So when you went up to play, I always find it difficult playing on someone else's setup when things are slightly different heights or it's not exactly like. Did you have any of that kind of feeling, or are you quite adept at like, the snare's too high and I can't quite get my rim shots or anything like that?
It was kind of similar to my setup. It was like really it was just a little breakbeat kit, so really small, like just a snare, a little high tom, a little floor tom, a crash stacky thing and a little crash, and then a little hats. All I had to do was just slightly move it out, and then I was like, sure, this is fine. And also I was like, I'm playing Diamonds, like he set it up, I'm not going to move anything because it's it's Diamonds kit.
Actually.
But
just be like, give it 10 minutes, I just need to adjust all this.
Retune and
swivel the stall and change all the civils.
No, it was so cool though. It was very cool. But yeah, hence why I had to do loads of little bits this morning. I was like, got this to do, but got there.
No, it's all good. I mean, I asked you before, and you were on tour to do the podcast. Who have you been touring with recently?
So the last tour I was out with was with a country artist called Chanel Yates, who's like upcoming. We just did the support tour for Alexandra Kay, who's a big American country artist. And I wasn't actually drumming on that one. I was like doing playback and MDing is the main thing, but I was also driving, sorting merch, tour managing, like everything. It was a pretty busy 2 weeks. Put 2,400 miles in my car, which is impressive.
That is impressive.
So, but it was really, really good fun. I love like the country scene. I'm a big fan of like Post Malone stuff, like F1 Trillion Long Bed is such a good album. So to be like involved with the country artists in the Nashville band, it was really, really cool. Really good fun.
Where was that tour?
Amazing.
UK and Europe. So we just went to Dublin and then a lot of the UK cities.
Nice. So is that side of the industry something you're like interested in to run alongside parallel to drumming?
I think so. I think it allows for like just longevity if something happens. Even if like an injury happens, you can still do the playback stuff, and just to have that knowledge of playback, I think it's really good alongside a drummer, because as control of the beat, it's kind of also then makes sense to be in control of the tracks and the sound. So I think it's a really good idea to expand into that. So I've really worked hard on it. I've got my own rig, like running auto-tune or anything. So yeah, to be adaptable, I think is quite important nowadays. You can't really just drum anymore. I don't think it's like that.
Is that something you kind of learn whilst going along as a drummer, like in your career, sort of being like, oh, actually, there's a lot of playback gigs. Maybe I should learn how to do this. Like, is it a few years in the making?
Yeah, I think so. I think I first did my first ever tour I was also on playback, so I was learning as it goes. And I look back at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that session was so messy, all of that stuff. But I was like, the only way I could get that tour is if I could also do playback. So I had to learn it. And I had to build a rig back then, which is like way worse than the rig I have now, but it shows how much you change with it all. But I just think, yeah, that opportunity came and I was like, okay, well, this is reality. I can't just drum. It's like bringing electronics into your drum kits now. You need like you need pads and things for half the gigs, and you need to know about MIDI so you can have things change. I just think that's, especially in pop, I'd say, perhaps not in the country scene. Country, you can just drum, and that's what, like the Nashville drummers, which I think is amazing. But I just think the scene that I've stuck myself into at the moment, you have to know that the playback side of things, the maybe even band leader side of things, like just you have to just know extra things about.
Yeah, definitely. Do you enjoy the playback side, or is there a part of you that wished it was like the 70s and you could just turn up and just play drums? I
really do wish I could just drum, because I watched Jonas Brothers a couple of years ago at a festival we played at, and he just drummed. I was like, you're having the time of your life. That's so fun.
Yeah.
But myself, I really enjoy the playback stuff. It's quite techie, and to be able to also I like having the control. I know if something goes wrong, I will know how to fix it. So I'm not hoping someone's going to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound crazy for being in control, but I kind of like that with the playback side.
No, but that's how it should be, right? Rather than oh, it's broke, I don't know what to do. can anyone help? You know?
Yeah, totally. But also, yeah, I think it's just fun. I like having this screen there. It's like an extra bit. It shows another skill set. I enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's we were talking to the last guest we had on actually about it and saying like I don't know why it has fallen to the drummer as the person to do the playback, you know, when it's like you've already got the most to set up in terms of a drum kit, and it's like, can you also do tracks? Like it's just, I don't know, it does seem to be, which seems like an obvious thing to say, but yeah, the drummer
that's
has
true.
to do the
That is true now. I've
already got
more
the
gear
stuff
to bring.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
More gear to bring, more gear to ensure.
Yeah.
And I'm using
exactly.
4 limbs. So like you know, it's bloody lazy keyboard players just using their hands.
You're just over here doing like a bit of everything.
What extra is just a mouse and a keyboard? You know what I mean? It's because we're the most valuable member of the band. That's why.
Right. I always say we're the ones that make everyone dance.
We're the ones that make what?
Everyone dance.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
That is true.
You know,
we can change the vibe of a gig with a half beat, with a half time, a double time.
Oh, you've seen those TikToks? Have you seen the ones where they play a song and then put all the different grooves on it? And you're like, oh wow, drummer really has power.
Yeah. It's mad. It is mad. Like that's what I like about drumming when it is just no playback. When you're like, oh, this is me controlling the room, you know. And it's like, even on a function, you know, you're like, this is quite a bit of power you get. It's always fun. So, I mean, where should we start with artists you played with? I mean, I don't know where to begin. I mean, if you scroll through your Instagram, it is insane. Should you start with Katie Baser?
Yeah, she's actually probably the most recent one I've got on. The first one was back in 2022 on the Little Mix tour. Little Mix created a band called Since September, and I was asked to drum and MD for them, and they were amazing guys, so it was great to work with them. But yeah, so I was working on building that set for my first tour was like building a set for an arena tour, which was absurd at the time. It was crazy. And I'd just come out of sixth form. So I literally just finished my A-levels and hopped straight onto that tour. I was like, oh, this is cool.
That's amazing.
It's really easy. Fun. This is easy. This drumming career thing. Yeah, sure.
I was like, why did I do math for A-levels?
Yeah.
Just hit things now. I don't need maths. No. Yeah. And then from that, I then did a few shows with Scouting for Girls, which was really fun. So they kind of had a link, Scouting for Girls and Since September, as Roy, the singer of Scouting, managed Since September for a bit, and then put me onto that and then the Scouting for Girls stuff. We had like 5-6 shows in the summer, which was really, really fun. And then the next show, I believe, was Leah Weller, which was really fun.
Yeah. Well, I want to stay on the Since September. So at that point, when you were playing arenas, had you played, I'm guessing there's no way you played that was close to that size. Was that a massive jump up?
Yeah, I think the biggest I'd played before that was probably like 8,000, festivals. And then suddenly this is 18,000 in a dark room, everyone with flashing lights, because the Little Mix crowd, everyone had like amazing outfits, really crazy colored lights. And the first gig, I just remember like the overwhelming feel and how like emotional it was just seeing all these lights facing the stage. It was pretty powerful.
Do you remember which venue it was for the first one?
It was Belfast SSE.
Right. Okay. Wow.
And then we did 3 nights in a row there, and then went to the Dublin one, 3 Arena.
Yeah.
And then did nights there. So those back to back was just incredible.
Yeah. So getting that gig, was that an audition or was that through contacts?
It was through contacts, and then I went to meet the guys and hung out, and then they ultimately said that they perhaps like my company, so that got on well, because it's all about your personal skills now. People aren't going to want to tour with someone they don't get on with, so they wanted to meet me and hang out first, and then they kind of like looked through my work and asked me things and asked how I could help, and ultimately they were happy with going forward with me drumming and MDing. So I sorted like the tracks out. We did a few shows before the tour as practicing, and they went really well. So then we're like, yeah, we're happy. Let's go full charge with this. So
Amazing.
Did they, when they wanted to get to know you, did you do anything specific, or was it just hang out? Like, did they want to test you? Like, let's see what he's like at bowling. Let's see.
I don't know. Yeah,
Put him in a
beat us at bowling.
laser quest. Let's see how can he handle these situations.
No, we literally just. I went up to their place, and it was at Kilburn in Kilburn, and it was an amazing day. So we just went out to the park and all just sat and chatted, and then kicked a ball around. Yeah, we just hung out, and then the next time I think was more of a jam. I think we like played guitar, had a little sing along, whatever, and then we hopped into a rehearsal the time after that. So yeah, I was lucky enough that the auditions. I like auditions, but obviously there's loads of people auditioning. I was like I was only one person that was being considered for it, so I just had to prove myself and hope that they'd get on with me, and ultimately they did. So,
did you get self-conscious at all? Like,
I don't know, because I think I was put into that situation because of who I am. So if I would have got self-conscious, I might have not acted myself. So I just had to firm it, be who I was, and then that's how I got myself there. So, yeah.
What was it like? Did you notice a difference in your playing when you went up to arenas, or like, did you notice you had to do things differently when you're playing bigger rooms?
Yes. So I believe it was two drummers that told me this: Mark Richardson from Skunk Anansie and Harry Judd from McFly, who's like my idol, the reason I started drumming. And they were like, there's these things called like arena drum fills, and I was like, what? And you can't do these choppy things as much because they get lost in arenas with the way the sound travels in the big rooms, the level of the loudness. You can't do all the delicate stuff, so you have to play differently, really a lot more tight, and let there be space. Like, don't just always fill up space. So it made me instantly, I kind of actually became a more mature drummer, I'd say. Instead of just wanting to like in the middle of things, I would really think about what would actually work in the room. Like, instead of going like, it would just be kind of thing.
Is that even in terms of like a groove? Would you perhaps not do ghost notes and stuff because it's like they're going to get lost?
Yeah, totally. And that's what happened with one of the songs. When we did smaller venues, I was able to, because we kind of barely had the snare mic on anyway in those rooms.
Yeah.
But with these ones, because perhaps we didn't have like a dedicated sound guy that works with me, we were able to work out what works. It was the front of house guy. Just like, I've got to make it sound better and make his job easier. So I've just got to play tight and simple in a way. And then that ultimately sounds better with 4 other instruments also playing. So
does it even come down to sort of kit choices as well? Like, would you use like different kits for an arena? Or is it
maybe cymbals? I'd say cymbals, right. But the kit, I think kit doesn't matter as much. Like, from that tour, I've kept roughly the same kit up until this next set that I'm doing. I've now got a completely different setup. But cymbals, I do think, because smaller cymbals really, like, the frequency, they would just cut and just wouldn't sound as good. So the smallest cymbal I did on that arena tour was at 18, I think. 18, I had 18, 19, 20 crashes, and then 22 ride, 16 hats, or 15 hats, 15 hats. So fairly bigger cymbals, I think.
I guess that's something you learn as you go. Because someone tell you that, don't you?
Someone told me that as well, so I was lucky.
There's some unique fashion choices I've seen on a few of your...
Oh, no. Not the see-through white trousers and the pink vest.
Yeah. So where's that fashion direction coming from for those shows?
Well, we had a bit of fun last year with the Katie shows, and she kind of tell us what vibe she wanted. And she was like, okay, I'm wearing pink and white, so can you wear pink and white? And we were like, okay, cool. And I think at that time, with the style of music, the style of shows, the way everything ran, it was kind of about being a little bit out there and just fun. And can you swear on this? It's like F it.
Yeah.
So then we saw those and we're like, yeah, they're quite cool, different. No one else is wearing them. Katie likes it, and they kind of look cool. Photos, and especially her fans, they kind of like really liked it as well, the outfit choices. So, and we stuck with those weird, wacky ones. So yeah, the tour's full of some cool, strange outfits.
So where do you get see-through white trousers from these days? It's been a while. It's been a while since I've had some.
I think they were women's trousers. They were women's trousers, I think, because you just can't get any kind of wacky men's ones anywhere. So they had like the zipper on the wrong way, and I was like, "Oh, this is weird." And I had to remember to wear white boxes underneath because they were like dead see-through.
That's risky. That is a risky outfit choice if you're out and about.
Oh, it's not out and about. That's stage.
No, I know. Very much like once I've done the gig, they're off. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Straight back to my clothes.
I love it though, because it does look great. It looks like I was watching videos of it, and it's sort of, I feel like you're as much a performer as she is, obviously. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's cool, as opposed to perhaps she's the singer and then her band is all dressed in black, you know, and sort of hidden away, you know.
I think that's one of the things they wanted to focus on was the show, because in my opinion, I think a longevity in artists are down to their live show and what they can really do to make people fans of them. Like, everyone's on Spotify now, everyone's on TikTok and Instagram, but the live show is the hardest bit to master. And when you've got that, that's when you've got more longevity as an artist. So Katie's plan was just to make this most amazing show. People that don't necessarily like her music would still be smiling. Like, it's impossible not to have a good time at the show. And that's where I fell into like being inspired by, because I genuinely think their live show is the most incredible live show, the way they work together and the sound, the vibe. So I've always been, they were my first ever concert and I was like, oh, these guys are cool. And then just been to like loads of their shows ever since.
I love that. Where did you see them on the first one?
It was at Mercedes-Benz World, and they were on the same lineup as like Sugar Babes in 2000 and I want to say like 6 or 7.
Oh wow.
So a long time ago, and then went to every tour since, and it's pretty cool.
I love McFly because do you know what I like about them? I like that now they are cool. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they're doing what they want.
Yeah, and I think when you was younger, it's like, oh, you like McFly? That's not cool. You know, we like this band that is somehow cool. I don't know, but now it's like, I remember they played at Victoria's Festival a few years ago, which is like festival in Portsmouth, and we all went along, and we're all, you know, late 20s, 30s, and just like, I've no shame in liking McFly.
It's like everyone's, used to be a guilty pleasure. Now it's just everyone just likes watching the show.
Yeah,
so
this is it. Yeah, it's like I've actually secretly always liked that.
Yeah.
That's cool. So do you know Harry personally then, or
I think
helps you?
He's helped me. Like, he was the reason I got into drumming, and I met him through some of the drum shows, because I think they're amazing places to network and meet people. And then my drum teacher at the time, Mike Dolbear, he was setting these Zoom calls up, and I was watching a Zoom call with him and Harry, and then Harry mentioned, like, Harry was like, oh, Ollie's in the chat. I was like, oh, sick, that's me. And then we hung out at a gig, and then now, it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, amazing. What advice has he given you? What kind of tips has he given you?
I don't know.
Or is it just like hanging out like mates?
Yeah, I think it was more hanging out. I think with him, I didn't really ask many drum things. One thing that he was shocked by was the fact that I started drumming because of him, because he was like, at the time, he was like, I didn't think much of me as a drummer. And I was like, what? You don't think you're your own drummer? Everyone has their own taste, and you clearly have your own taste and sound. And that's the reason I got into drums. So obviously you are a very good drummer. Like, people so easily compare themselves to others now, especially with social media. Everyone's like, oh, I'm drumming, I feel like I'm good. And then you see this like 5-year-old kid who's like, oh, you're like, oh, I'm going to quit now. I'm like, no, I drum because of your drumming. So I think he was pretty happy about that. So yeah.
I think I was a bit too old to like McFly when they first came out.
Mm-hmm.
But You know, I do a few of their songs at functions, and
Yeah.
my mum always joked. She was like, "You should have been the drummer in McFly." You know, maybe in a
Cool.
sliding doors moment that would have happened one day.
Yeah.
But either that or the Milky Bar Kid. But they would have been my childhood. But I think now, like, I love them, and the same for Busted, and obviously the Mook Busted, and you know, I've always said like a dream gig of mine would be playing for Busted. I just think forget even like all personal taste, or I want to play technical metal, and you know, fucking playing bangers every night on those sorts of tours would be great fun.
Yeah.
But I think it can easily sometimes be forgotten with a band like McFly, it's my opinion anyway, that because they were so in sort of the pop world and the charts world and the radio world, that they're actually a band and that actually Harry is a drummer. Does that make sense? That because it can get lost in the commercialization of them, that he's actually, you know, they're actually musicians and he's actually, you know, plays drums. And I wonder if he ever
and they actually write their own songs as well.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if that ever played a factor, you know, where it's
exactly that.
You know, some bands get known for the musicians through underground, but they're presented as this kind of pop package. But actually, he is, because there's some tasty drum parts going on. You know,
they're all like actually really, really, really good musicians. Their new album where they've just done their own music and just had fun with it is like really good, musician wise. Like, yeah, they're very, very good players, and that does get lost. That's so right. Like back in the day, they were like a boy band. They were perhaps just radio play, but now musicians, we're like big time respect for them because they've also changed the game of performance. I think so many bands are now and artists are influenced by them. I mean, you've even got it was not Ice Spice, I've forgotten. There was a rapper, I can't remember her name, ginger English rapper girl, not Ice Spice. Oh no,
we're not going to move on until we guess.
Wait. She's got, let me find it. I can't find it. Damn, I hate it when this happens. It's not Ice Spice, it's
I've been trying to Google it just on what you said. I just typed in ginger rapper with McFly. That's not gonna get it up, is it?
She did the song and had basically 5 colours in her hair as the main catchy bit of it.
Okay.
So they then credited them, but it just shows that like every type of genre kind of knows certain acts and dedicates songs and things to them. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. When you were younger, was that your dream gig to be? Would that be your dream gig playing for McFly?
Probably still is, yeah.
Is it now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think just the way they perform on stage, because I've like grown up band and Sour Kicks, and that was with my brother, my sister, and best mate Ed on bass, and we've like the energy we had was kind of similar to that, and I've always been like, bands are the way to go, but they're just not supported in the industry at all. Like there haven't been you've got Coldplay now, and then before that, McFly did Five Sauce, and like just bands aren't it. In the noughties, since 2000, there haven't been bands, whereas in the 90s, almost every song on radio was a band.
Yeah, I saw it. I can't remember where I saw it, but something about that, and looking at like what's in the top 40, and it's just disappeared. I think weirdly it was Richard Osman who was doing a thing on it.
Oh really?
It was like the last 10 years out of all the number ones, there was only like 3 number ones were bands or something like that.
I think one of them was like the Rolling Stones when they reissued something or something like that. So it's just like, it's just not a thing. But it's fine.
I've remembered the song.
Oh yeah, go on.
Pink Pantheress, True Romance. So have a listen to it after, and you'll hear the catch. Like I don't know why I get like fixated on something I can move on until.
No. I had it at the back of my mind. I'm going to type it in now. Pink Pantheress. Is that so she like a oh yeah, wow. Fair enough. Yeah, she probably grew up with McFly, right? She's like 20.
Yeah, I reckon.
Okay, so here's a question.
Yeah, totally.
So let's say Harry accidentally breaks his arm or his leg. He's no longer Ollie. You got the call. You're in McFly. But you've got to do either I'm a Celebrity, Strictly Come Dancing, or Dancing on Ice, or what one did Danny do? Did he do pop star to opera star or something
yeah.
like that?
Oh,
Which one of them are you doing?
Okay, I haven't got the facilities for pop star to op star. No, don't have the lungs. Dancing on ice. I can ice skate, but I don't want to chop my hand off and fall over. So, strictly, I like to think that I have some moves. Moves can come out. When
The moves come out last night.
They did. Like sober me in the vibe. I was there. And I'm a celeb. I love like challenges and things, and I'm trying to like really push myself. I don't think I have any crazy fears because I maybe haven't experienced things like all those snakes on your face. I don't know, crazy things that happen there. So I'd probably say I'm a celeb because I kind of want to see where I'd have a fear.
Yeah,
But
that's
See what a kangaroo's anus
Ben,
tastes
that was
like.
the best.
Yeah,
that was the
always
best
wondered that.
question ever asked. I didn't know where that was. I thought it was going to be like, if you were in McFly, you know, what kind of sticks would you use? But
Yeah.
no, you
That's an
actually
unreal
mean if
question.
he
I love
was-
it.
If he was a band member in McFly, right?
Yeah, because they've all done them. They've basically done they're all King of the Jungle, basically. George, what would you do?
TV.
I think I'm a celeb as well. I think that'd be great. I think what an experience, you know.
Would you eat
'Cause
anything?
I think I'd eat anything. I think whilst you're there, because for the money, right? You know what I mean? You know you're going to get something. And I'm like, it's 2 weeks. And you're probably bored day. So it's just like, if you have to eat a sheep's testicles, it's like, it's something
Yeah,
to do.
just
you
a
know?
bit of meat.
Yeah, if you traveled that far, you know, what are you going to do? Say no? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'd eat anything. Ben, what would you do as soon as we're going around the circle?
Dancing.
Dancing, please.
I think I'd have to do Strictly. Yeah.
I love seeing you
Yeah.
do the tango.
I got moves. I got moves for days, mate.
Who would you pair up with? You'd have a celebrity partner.
DeBeck. Go with DeBeck. Yeah, I'd break the mold. Let's have some male on male action.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
why
just
not?
the experience alone. You know.
Great.
That's
Yeah,
great.
just
I love that.
yeah. No, I think it would have to be Strictly. I think because I would fucking shit myself with the spiders. I could not do it. And I
really?
have sat and watched Celebrity and been like, do you know what? I could, you're egging them on, aren't you? You know, someone's in there and they're going mental. They're covered in snakes. And I was playing darts the other day and there was a big spider in the garage and he was bogging me out and it was putting me off my game. But to put 50 of them in a helmet on me, I mean, I just couldn't do it. And I think it's too far to go to just fail.
I rate that.
Whereas,
So funny.
to put a little cummerbund on me and get me dancing in Blackpool, voila.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Christ. I now don't know what to say to get this back on track.
No, that's like the top question. That's unreal.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Playback. I don't know.
What other artists what else would be your dream gig? What sort of music could be a secret pleasure, but what sort of thing would you be like, yeah? Well, I asked George this actually. Okay. We chatted about this the other week. What drummer's career would you want to have? And
Okay.
so you have to have all their career, personal life doesn't matter, but you have to have their whole career. Or what if a band or artist called you up and said, Ollie, we want you on a gig for 1 year right now.
You drop everything.
Who would those two? Who would
Just
that drummer
Okay.
to
be?
give you an
Was that-
example of what I chose, just if it helps. So I did the Rolling Stones as the career, because then it's just your Charlie Watts from the 60s all the way through. And it's just, you play in stadiums for 60 years, basically. And then, I don't know, if someone called me up today, I said jokingly Metallica, because I just think that'd be quite, just fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That was quite off the cuff. But yeah, like, one is like their whole thing, and then one is just like where the band is at now, Quite
Okay,
fun,
so
yeah.
for career wise, Chad Smith, I think,
Yeah.
would be pretty insane because he's managed to separate his music side of things and then have his drum side of things as crazy and big as it is. And they've been going since '88, I think. So it's a very good long career, and now they just do shows whenever they want and earn their millions. So I think that's pretty cool. But I was also thinking, as a session drummer, Carl Brazil, I think he's like incredible drummer, and the way he's got these two main gigs of Robbie and James Blunt, and he's really got the gigs. No one could be better than him, and to have that sort of gig where you are without question the one for the gig, I think that's really cool. And the way I think he MDs both of them as well.
Oh wow.
So I think that's an incredible role. And I think, I'd say Session World, Carl, drum, lifestyle, and everything else, Chad Smith. And then was the other one like a show that I'll drop everything for? Kind of?
Yeah, like you're going to join us for 1 year right now.
I would say an R&B act like Rihanna, Beyonce, Bruno. It's R&B. Yeah. I'd say those. I think there's something different about the American A-listers as the way you play with them and perhaps the way you're treated and everything. I think just it's a different world that us in the UK, like the acts are incredible here, but I think it's just so different there. The stardom and the way everyone's treated. I think it'll be insane to be hanging around like the Untouchables and to work for those type of musicians. Beyonce and Rihanna would just be like insane. And you can be choppy, tasty, whilst also it is a very tight and probably a strict gig, but you have your time to do the chops.
Do you mean how they're almost like famous on like another level? Like it almost seems like,
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. This might be the way I look at it, but because we're in the UK music scene, I don't feel like there's any UK Untouchables, but then you see you go and, I mean, even yesterday, the band were treated like royalty. And then you've got obviously Beyonce on top of that. I mean, one of the ones that really shocked me was when I did a Big Weekend years ago now. The Jonas Brothers walked past and I hadn't seen them live before, but I was like, they walked past and you were like, damn, they're like superstars. The way they walked and everyone was like, whereas you get other artists who might have more streams or something and might on paper be more well-known, but are just more casual and more down to earth, or in a way that they're not quite untouchable. Like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I think that...
No, I know what you mean.
The levels are different out there.
And I think it's probably even less now than it used to be. I remember people saying about how like the Beatles were, or like, say like Michael Jackson. I remember seeing a video of Michael Jackson coming on stage and people lost their minds because
people were fainting at the start.
Yeah, and it was probably partly because it's like he wouldn't, there was no social media. So it was like the only time you actually get to see them is like when they actually do a gig, rather than like, hey guys, how's it going? This is my TikTok. You know what I mean? It kind of removes that sort of personal side, and it's just like they're just there on stage. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I think that's so true. The way everyone can watch a gig now online has taken it away. Hence, I think what was really cool where there are some shows, like Lewis Capaldi did a show where phones were allowed. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And Coldplay always tell people to put their phones away.
Yeah.
Because I've never watched a video back on my phone, probably like 2 days after. And then apart from that, I don't go back and watch concert videos. So why would you film them?
I know, this is it. And we talked about it before. And I do wonder if it's people trying to show like on their Instagram that they're at a place, almost like, hey, look where I am. Like, I don't know, the people watching the story are never fussed as they might see. I don't know. Yeah, there are people. I think Jack White does it. I think he says you have to lock your phone in a thing,
Cool.
Otherwise, because it just ruins it. It's like we've all been to gigs, and it's like, I'm not old, but I'm 30, and I do feel like when I started going to gigs, that was like just the last gigs that were like no phones. Not to start doing a thing about that, but I remember seeing bands, and it was just, as they used to say, it was like everyone was just there, just enjoying it. And then,
but I feel like that was even a thing in like 2000. I remember concerts I went to in like 2012, and some people had like little digicams, but then most of the time it would just be hands in the air, and I think that is so cool, especially as a performer.
Yeah.
As soon as you start and everyone does that, it's like, oh, cool, we're now playing to cameras and screens.
Yeah, do you find that weird? Because I'm sure it's happened a lot. Yeah,
I prefer playing to people's faces and like their hands in the air or something, rather than like everyone just doing that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
literally.
Make you dance, not whoever's watching on your phone dance.
Yeah.
Is there any detachment feeling when you're playing an arena to like 20,000 people where you can't see people's faces, and do you feel a disconnect or anything different rather than playing like, to a couple of thousand in a room where maybe you can see people a bit more. Does that affect you as a performer at all?
I wouldn't say it affects me. It's very clearly like a massive change. You probably, that's quite a tough one. Yeah, so when you do arenas, you can't see. People are so far away and so up high, and it's dark up there, or you just see the lights. You just play, and like in your brain, you're like, what? For me, I'm like, I need to play and make all these people that I can't see have fun. So I need to have fun and look like I'm having fun. So I'll do that. Whereas in the smaller venues, you're noticeably seeing people having fun. So then you don't have to like imagine it. So you still kind of do the same performance, but you're getting like good reactions when you see everyone. Whereas if you can't see everyone, you're kind of like hoping people are like you. Like imagine like someone in the top corner is like, oh, I hate these guys. You're like, oh, but luckily you can't see them, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you find I've got to ask this because I've heard people say this before. It can be more nerve-wracking to play to a small room than like an arena. Is that something you found?
Yeah, well, yeah, I totally agree. I think I've never really got like nerves playing a gig. I think that the first show on that tour, I was actually a little bit nervous because I was like in control of the track. I was like, oh my God, this is kind of crazy. But I wouldn't say nerves will happen, but I think I actually feel like if I say I mess up or I do something, I wouldn't mind as much in the big show because you can just get along with the vibes. But and then in the small show, if you just lock eyes with someone, or if like some
they're just
drummer,
shaking
like it's always the thing, yeah. Or if like drummers turn up, like, oh, here we go. Like now I'm playing for drum, but that doesn't change my playing. I will always just play for the gig. But you're like, oh, I can now see you come in. Oh, great, you're here. And
Yeah, literally.
Oh, good. Beyonce's band are here. Fine.
oh, I'm just gonna.
I thought you were going to say something, Ben.
No, I think I was, but my brain just went. I was just no.
Okay,
I was
we
just.
do
I'll tell you
edit
what I
this
was
off.
thinking.
Like,
I was just imagining like a fever nightmare you're having, where you're playing a gig, and then all the people who you don't like. Oh, Harry's just walked in. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, just all these. Oh, Chad Smith's come in. Brilliant. And then you just.
But the way I look at it is if anyone's watching you, they're there to watch you and to watch you play as the person you are. Like some people are like, with stage fright, I get some people get it, but in my opinion, people are there to see you for who you are. So don't put pressure on yourself with that. Just do your thing. Like that's what people are either paying to see or turning up to see, making the effort to get there. If you're supporting, people are turning up early. So they're there to watch you. So just do your thing and yeah.
A little bit about gear. Can you just give us a quick run through of your BDC kit? I'd quite like to know what skins you've got on them, and then you mentioned cymbal sizes, but what you've got. And B, can you get me one, please?
Okay, so hell yeah, I'll do my best. That would be so cool. With the kit, I'm just checking my emails of the skins because I've forgotten. 1 sec. Oh, are they just Emperors? Okay, so skin-wise, let's do the kit. So with my British drum company Legend kit, I've got a 22-inch kick. I originally had a 12 rack and then 14, 16 floor tom, but now I've got 10, 12 rack and a 16 floor tom. So 2 up, 1 down instead of 1 up, 2 down. That's just because the new music with Katie is kind of more like melodic and delicate. So I need to have those tones rather than just kind of like the rock set. The snare wise, I'm using so I used to use the Bluebird, but now I'm using the Aviator, both British drum company, and I love it. And then
I've got the Aviator.
Great, isn't it?
Oh,
so good.
So good.
And then my second is a brand cool, and it's a 10-inch popcorn snare. So, but that's just for some of like, there's some kind of delicate kind of trap beats, but also I just need it for the songs. I would then also have an electronic snare because there are some like fat sounds that I need, but slightly different sounds. So I'm just going to program them into the electronic snare. So with the 10, 12 and 16, I'm using coated skins for the very first time on a tour. So they're just a Remo Emperors. I just found they sounded really good and they look neat, but the warmer tone is better than the bright clears that I had before, which worked for the last stuff, but I have to adapt, so you have to change. And then on my snare, Ambassador X is my favorite snare head for the Aviator. And then the black reverse dot was my favorite for the Bluebird. And then cymbal wise, on this tour, the cymbals this is fun. Like I'm loving this cymbal setup. There's a lot more going on. So I've got my 15-inch K Sweets hi-hats. These are all Zildjian. To my left is a 20-inch A Custom EFX, and then a 19 or 18-inch A Custom Thin, A Thin. And then I've got a little EFX stack. Have you seen the little ones that come as like the gold and silver metal things you put together, either like a hi-hat or as a stack? And I've got one of those because they're really cool. I've then got a 10-inch and a 12-inch splash on top of my 10 and 12 toms. So it looks sweet. To my right is the first ride cymbal I've ever got, and like I still always use it. It's a big Zildjian K Crash Ride 22.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then my big right-hand crash is a 20-inch K Dark, I think it is actually.
Nice.
Though the cymbals work really well. They're very different, but
Amazing.
they all work, and they're all quite big as well. So yeah, a lot more going on this time, which is fun.
Nice. I like the switch. I was going to, you answered before I could ask, but the switch from 1 up, 2 down to 2 up, 1 down.
It's so cool. Also, because I played on like these, like Benny's kit, as I mentioned earlier, having that 2 up there, it changes your playing. And I play a lot left-handed now. Like for the last 2 years, I've been playing open-handed, really trying to get my left hand the exact same as my right hand. So I would just groove out sometimes and just like I'm just grooving open-handed. And that's like my go-to now, which is really bizarre. But then it allows you to not cross over when you're doing these tom fills. So it just sounds different rather than if you're going under or like that.
Yeah.
The way you get there by going under, different to just hitting it normally, like with your right hand. So it's really interesting, that side of things.
It is. Was there a reason you started to play more open-handed?
Sabrina Carpenter's drummer, I was like, damn, he's got a snare to his right. I'm going to give that a go. And he had a fat snare to his right there. And I was playing like that. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I've always learned through Mike Dolbear, every exercise I ever learn, like whether it's jazz, like ding, gat, ding, gat, I will always switch straight away and make sure I'm the exact same level on my left hand as my right hand at each metronome. So I just think that's just one thing I've always done. And I don't actually think many people do that, but like I've always wanted to play every groove I can play with my right hand and my left.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's still not good yet, but
no, but well, that Dexter Hercules, I was watching him heads, and it's just it's so seamless the way it goes from one side to the other. You know?
Yeah, like where he's jamming, it just looks kind of cool as well. It's very, I think it's very gospel because in the churches they would just have a drum kit, and if you're left-handed, you just have to play on it. So that's how
yeah, literally. Ben, how much time we got?
Should we do a final question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ollie, who is your favourite delivery company?
Wow. I'm going to say, this is all recorded, the long gap.
It's all right, we edit it. It's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Let me quickly think. Favourite delivery company? I don't know why. Okay, so for food, I'd say Deliveroo, just because I will always use Deliveroo. But then for everything, we also sometimes get vegetable delivered from like a local market, Boz's, shout out Boz's. But I'd say Amazon, it kind of gets everything you need on there. I feel bad because it could be bad for the environment and all those things, but they do well. And the guys that like come to our house, always the same and they're fun. They always play with my dog. So throw the ball over the fence.
I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Any bad delivery stories? Any snares getting the post or anything like that?
Oh, I actually haven't, I haven't had any bad delivery stories, luckily, yet, touch wood. But I definitely know of people that have had like, if they have a fence over by the house, people like putting drums over the fence and just dropping them the other side, which I think is crazy. And then they have a Ring camera, so it obviously catches it all.
Where can people find you, and what's next for you this year? So
you can find me on Instagram, Ollie_Thacker. I'm also on TikTok, but that's kind of cringy. On YouTube, Ollie T Drummer. I'm also going to restart up Stick Bros with my friend Connor Hopkins. So where we're going to react, but also get involved in more drumming side of things. And what's next for me? I'm about to start rehearsals with Katie for the new era of music and the festivals. We've got Olivia Rodrigo at Hyde Park in a week and a half, which is going to be fun. And then straight after that, 2 days after, I go on tour with Matthew Nolan, and then more tours after that. So yeah, very exciting.
Nice. Fantastic. Well, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, thank you for having me. It's so much fun.
There we go. Ollie Thacker. Ollie Thacker.
Great
chat, great
brilliant.
lad. Yeah.
Great chat, great lad. Yeah,
And
brilliant.
I think I need to get myself a pair of white see-through trousers.
I don't think you do.
No, not at my age, not at my bleeding arsehole. That would show right through, wouldn't it?
Christ. That's the point at which people switch off. They go,
Yeah.
oh, Ollie's interview's done.
The bleeding
Right.
arseholes come out.
And
It's
and this is where our listeners come in.
yeah.
They're like, brilliant. He's on about his arsehole again. I'll stay for this.
Yeah.
Great.
Good stuff.
Brilliant.
Good stuff.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
chat. Yeah. It's
Great
nice
chat.
to talk to someone who has done so much. I mean, most people we have on have done a lot. I mean, everyone's lived a life, you know. But
Sure.
yeah, you can kind of go in any sort of direction and he'll have a story for it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you talk about McFly and he happens to have chatted and possibly be friends with Harry Judd, you know. That's cool. Not everyone can throw, you know, name drop that, you know.
Or just right at the start. Oh, I was just hanging out with Beyonce's band last night.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot that. That's how you started it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant start. For anyone listening who is going to be a potential guest one day, start with that or cancel the Zoom
fuck
call.
off.
Yeah, literally. Because that's the level we want to hit.
You got
How
to come in
doing?
hot.
Sorry, I was out last night with Beyonce's band. Right, cool.
Great. Let's start there. Yeah.
Let's start there. Yeah, there was no.
Whereas last night, I think I
slow-
went to bed at 9 p.m.
Mm.
What did we watch? Watch the last episode of Gangs of London. So
Well, that sounds like a good night. In a
both
sense.
London themed. He was out in
Both
London,
London
Beyonce's
themed.
band. I was watching a program about gangs in London.
Yeah,
Londinium.
yeah.
You mentioned just before we started this outro, you weren't sure what you were going to have for lunch.
Oh shit! I was wondering what I mentioned. Yeah. Well, the other morning, right? So when I got back from my gig at 7 a.m., I had this idea. I was like, God, it'd be great to wake up. I never buy meat, right? I'll eat meat when I'm out sometimes, but I never buy it. Thought, how good will it be to wake up and have a fry up? You know what I mean? Like, you get in from a gig, you sleep for a bit because you got to sleep. You've been up all night, and then you wake up. Oh, hello! I bought some hash browns and bacon when I was sort of, you know, barely awake. But I woke up and I didn't fancy it. Do you know what I mean? So today I'm like, do I have a fry up today? But I'm also like, I feel like you really need to want a fry up. You can't just have a fry up willy-nilly. You know, it's not like bran flakes. You know what I mean? You're just having some sort of sustenance. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna. I haven't eaten yet, and it's midday. I'm a bit peckish, but yeah. So we'll see. Don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah.
But I put
Bacon
eggs
sandwich?
and beans. Well, yeah, something like that. But I've got all the parts, so I'm like, should I just do it? Should I just fucking make it?
Fuck it. Tuesday,
And
fry up.
I also got the house to myself. Yeah, my housemate's away for the
Ooh.
week, so I'm sort of trying to relish in that. You know, just have a fry up and watch snooker. I've been obsessed with snooker recently, like snooker documentaries. Watching Gods of Snooker on iPlayer. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched it, but it's talking
I've not
about how
seen
they
it,
were in
but-
the 80s. It's it's so good. Talking about Alex Higgins. He's, you know, sort of my hero, you know.
Was he?
Not even
Was
as a
he the
snooker player.
Hurricane? Was he?
Yeah, Alex Hurricane Higgins.
Yeah.
And he was just, you know, they said
would
the
your
only
snooker
time he
name
wasn't
be?
drinking was when he was playing snooker. I mean, is it going to be alliteration with P? Like
Probably.
George Potter Pickering?
Oh,
George
the Potter Pickering, yeah.
Yeah, but is that too much like Harry Potter? You know what I mean?
Could be.
Don't know.
Could be.
What would yours be?
I mean, Whirlwind's gone, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So, I think the Wizard's gone. Someone's the Wizard, aren't they?
Yeah.
Someone's the Wizard
Do you
of
reckon we play
Northamptonshire.
snooker if you and I played together the same way that we played darts? Like, I'd be really like, bang. you know, like just
No grace. Just everyone. It's an absolute honk of a shot. Bosh.
yeah. Did I tell you
You know,
about?
you just
I did. Yeah, go on.
Tickle the pink into the middle pocket. Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played. I know I mentioned it last week, but when I played, I don't know if I mentioned what Gabby and I got up to when we went out in Southampton, but we went to a pool bar and played pool against each other for an hour. And I'm sure she won't mind me saying this, but I beat her 5-0. You know what I mean? And she kind of came in a bit like,
A bit hot.
a little bit, you know. And she started off like, I was like, oh shit, she really does. She's potting balls left, right, and centre. And then I came in, and I feel like I play pool the same way I do bowling, where it's like every now and then I'll get a strike. People will be like, that was good. How'd you do that? I'd be like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like that with pool. Like I'll fucking, it will fly in, and it will do some sort of backspin and get in a good place for the next shot. Oh, that was good. How'd you get that backspin? No idea. But it looked cool, you know. So yeah. Anyway, lots to think about there. Snooker.
Did you, you know, a lot of people like to gamble
nice.
when they play pool, you know, like,
Yeah.
did you, was the Glastonbury set on the line? If I beat you?
Not quite. No. And that was 4 weeks to the day before she was about to do it. I remember us talking about it, and I was going, yeah, but that's great, but it's not pool though with your mate, is it? You know what I mean? So no, I haven't wangled my way into that set yet. Still time.
Yet.
No, I'm not going to do
Great.
that. I wouldn't do that.
Well, let's wrap
cool.
up there. Thank you for listening as always. drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Which
Yep.
drummers have you beaten at pool? What are you having for lunch?
Yep.
All the big questions. And which reality TV show would you do and why if you were a member of McFly? It rhymes. It must be true. We'll
forgot
see
all
you
that.
next week. Thanks, George.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.